First at 4, the FBI is investigating 10 fake 911 calls about school shootings happening all across Oklahoma today, from Enid to Miami. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tatum Gwynn. Now, one of those fake calls for help triggered a lockdown at Tulsa's Will Rogers High School. News on 6's Cal Day is live there with the big response that was prompted by this hoax. Cal?
Well, Tatum, Tulsa police say when a call of this magnitude goes out, it goes to every officer here in the city. They say earlier today, with reports of an active shooter right here at Will Rogers High School, that troopers from the Oklahoma Highway Patrol and also officers from Tulsa police flooded this area. Investigators say the caller claimed to be a teacher who was locked in a bathroom on the second floor of the high school while a shooter was inside the building.
We were concerned because it was an internet-based phone call, and we have found sometimes that those are false, and we were able to determine that none of that happened. There was not an active shooter here. There was no violence at all, no issues whatsoever that were going on.
Stacia Lipe was inside with her family to learn more about enrolling her child at the school when the lockdown happened.
It was surreal at first, just to see police coming up and fire, and you're kind of, what is that? And then you see the police coming out with their firearms and the shields and the multiple fire trucks. I thought I was going to be sick. I was very scared.
Lipe says it was a tense 15 minutes of waiting to find out what was going on. She's impressed with the quick actions of school staff and first responders and is glad this situation didn't turn out to be real.
Our kids have already been through enough trauma with COVID. I am a nurse at a local hospital, and it's on all nurses' minds after what happened at St. Francis, and then to be a parent as well with all of the occurrences that have been happening in our country. It's terrifying.
Police say the hoax is dangerous for officers who are trying to get to the scene as fast as they can.
Just coming to the call itself, officers do drive in an emergency status, with lights and sirens. They're driving fast to get here, and that in and of itself can be dangerous, let alone everything else that occurs that can create danger and concern for officers.
And the FBI says having to investigate these fake calls just drains its resources because it takes agents away from situations that are real. Live in Tulsa, Cal Day, Oklahoma's own News on 6.
Cal, thank you so much for that update. Similar swatting calls have been happening across the country. Several fake calls were also made today in New Hampshire. Yesterday in West Virginia, at least 15 calls were made about possible threats at schools across the state. All of those turned out to be fake. Investigators aren't sure if all the calls were made by the same person, but say the voice on several of the calls sounded familiar. Several other states have reported waves of swatting calls over the past several weeks.